Right, and we are back. Sorry about that, just have to lower the bit rate and sort out my microphone. If you could just make sure you've got your audio re-included, Hippo. Sorry about that, everyone. It's just, still trying to work out some things. That's what this social is good for. It's just to, make sure we're fully optimized for the season coming up. So hopefully now that should improve the quality, and now my microphone shouldn't be echoing. If it's echoing, it's probably echoing off of your mic there, Hippo.
Yeah, I'll quickly just see if it is.
I've just changed my mic over, so if there's any more echo now, it's probably through yours.
Okay, I'll keep it. Yeah.
Right, so getting back to the social, Lukey, the Racing Point, is currently the only car that, well, one of the only cars, other than Michael, who's DNF'd, and Eitz, who's still in the pits, who has not set a lap.
During that little break, Eyes is set 20.2 to go second, and BRC Dan's improved up to 6th.
Right, stream, the chat. How does the sound quality sound now? Does it sound good for you? Let's see how you lot think, if it's all good. Because I know you could hear me twice over. I'm thinking it might be alright. Anyways, Lukey is now getting ready to do a lap. He's had a nice little warm-up.
Yeah, it's working.
I think the if anyone hears any repeating, I think that's my mic through Hippo's. I don't think that's my mic. That's it happens sometimes when you're in an Xbox Live party. That's just how it goes. So if there is a little bit of repeating, it's just parties. Anyways, Lukey is now pushing through the first sector zone. That was the fastest first sector, so he's gone faster than his teammate. And, a little bit of a lock-up there going through turns 9 into 10. Dangerous Dan retires in third place. Eyes the best, gets second place, a 120.2 in Q1.
He's setting up a purple sector.
That was close. Did you see how much curve he took coming out of turn 12?
Very risky. Rode it a lot.
Catch too much, and off you go. Yeah, second to last corner now. Pushing now to the start-finish straight. Lukey in the Racing Point. Where will he come out? P4, I think.
Yeah, P4.
Maybe hitting that little end curb, at the turn 12, turn 11, turn 12 chicane. I think, because I think I heard that might have costed him some time.
Yeah.
Oh, common bug with F1. And now we got RSF1 Eitz in the Ferrari driver, representing the Scuderia, formerly a Alfa Romeo driver. Once he crosses the line, Hippo, it's your onboard to take away.
Will do.
Presenting number 14, that's Fernando Alonso's number. However, Fernando will be driving for the Alpine team. I'd preferably call it Alpine because that's pretty much how it looks and spells. We've got a good season coming up in terms of real-life F1, don't you agree? Aston Martin making a return since the 1950s. Quite a lot of change.
Yeah, so it'll be good to look forward to. Lots of driver lineup difference as well.
Yuki Tsunoda is also getting into the Alpha Tauri, and he's doing quite a lot of practice at Imola from what I can see. And here we go, RSF1 Eitz round the last corner. Hippo, it's yours to take away.
Yeah, he's just he's on full throttle going down to turn 1 here. Just going a little bit wide, taking the curb, going sweeping in, and trying to stick to the inside on the second turn. Turns DRS on very early, and brakes as late as he turns in, trying not to eat too much of that inside curb. Swinging it back to the left and flat out with his right-hander. Just touching the curb, not going onto the green patch. And just trying to cut the corner as much as you can. Now that validating does it really well there. And just keep it to the inside, let it just roll out wide. Before bringing it back into this right-hander, taking it out to the left. And just trying to keep to the inside again as long as you can. Just slowly move out to outside line before sweeping back into this left-hander. Fast right-hander, trying to cut the corner without invalidating and not hitting the curb too much on the exit. And now he's coming to the right-hander, just trying to get some of the curb without getting too deep. So lose a bit of time if you do. And again, now onto this left-hander, just got to get a good exit, not rig around too much with the rear. He sweeps around the final corner, just turns on DRS and just keeps his foot down to the line. Doesn't run out of DRS right to the end there and takes it up to P3.
Nice drive, and I think I noticed there on that onboard a wild Jay Slee who actually had an issue coming out of turns 13 and must have hit the wall somewhere, and that's Jay Slee's qualifying session over as well, even though that 120.6 was a pretty good time. It would have put him P11.
Yeah, at the minute.
Oh, no, P12, sorry.
Pigeon Munch, you'd expect to get through this qualifying as an F1 driver, just sitting outside where he needs to be. So, see if he can get into that top 15.
So he's currently 4 tenths. Sorry, he's really up in his time. His fastest second sector as well.
Don't want to read that
Mercedes
number
up ahead has had a bit of a problem. I think Pigeon just took the time to warm himself up.
He's got to get this lap right.
Here we go. Just got to watch out for that wild Mercedes on the apex. It's LR Evo. Luckily, I don't think that hindered Pigeon. I don't know if that would have, but I think this lap will be enough to secure Pigeon into Q2 as Toxic CW and Quirky Turtle will not be going for Pigeon Munch.
A sub 120.
Ooh, 19.6. And Pigeon Munch instantly sets the pack down and puts his foot down and says, "This is why I'm an F1 driver."
He did have to use a second set of tyres. I think a few people did, to be honest. I think.
Yeah, that's not very good for the race, isn't it?
Stygian didn't really have to. And a couple of others stayed on one tyre the entire time as well.
Oh, BF1 racer puts himself up into third place, formerly known as RSF1 Verstappen. He did take part in the early stages of Season 3, but had left the league and has now returned. So here is your top 3 for Q1. So as it stands, Mr. Pigeon Munch on top of a 19.6 on the soft compound tyre, as Hippo pointed out, his second soft compound tyre. So that's going to affect him maybe in the race, depending on the weather. RSF1 Vettel gets second of a 120.0, a very good lap. And then at the very last moment, BF1 Racer puts himself up just behind Vettel, just over a tenth shy of taking second place, but very good work there from BF1 Racer. And then our drivers out of the session, which is Michael in 19th, Quirky Turtle in 18th, Toxic CW in 17th, LR Evo in 16th, and Jay Slee actually being out as well in 15th place due to his terminal damage after hitting the wall.
8 cars used 2 sets of softs on that qualifying session, one of which was toxic and he didn't even get out. So he'll be I'm happy with that, I reckon.
On the bright side though, you do get like a fresh use of tyres. Crikey, that was quick! We haven't even gotten into a session and a Red Bull was leaving the pits. I was just like, God, I've got a Series X and even mine doesn't load that fast. Double is going to be a dry race, says Stygian. So, using up a second soft compound, second soft tyre, it's a bit of a risk by Pigeon, but then again, he's been known to be a risk taker and it paid off massively. Are you aware of probably, I think, one of the best strategy calls ever in RSF1? I'm
not aware of what you're referring to now.
Right, so a bit of history for you. I think it was season 2, back in the day when you had Toro Rosso in the packs. So it was Suzuka, and it was a full wet condition. However, the track did not stay full wet. It did say the rain was going to calm at some point. So at the beginning of the session before the race started, Pigeon bit the bullet and put on inters when everyone else was on full wets.
Oh.
When everyone had pitted, Pigeon was over, I think, 30 to 40 seconds clear of the entire pack. And when he went to pit for a second intermediate tyre and finished on them, he commanded that race. I think that had to be the best risk I'd ever seen someone take, and it paid off brilliantly. He made up places in an instant compared to the wet compound runners, and then when they pitted, he just had that ability to just take off and stay gone. So Mr. Pigeon Munch, in my opinion, still holds to this day the best risk ever taken that's paid off.
Well, will it get beaten? In the new season, new chances for people to make their mark.
Oh, F1 Azza, the first car to go onto the track in Q2 on the soft compound tyre, and invalidates. You know when I told you back before, if you catch a little bit too much of that green green markings there in turns 2, it can invalidate the lap, and Azza has just shown that. So track limits here can be a bit of a pain if you're trying to take extremely wide corners. So everyone is getting on some of that. Actually, let's go on board with Josh, S04, who's on the medium compound tyre. I was trying to circle through some softs, but he's currently the only medium runner, so let's see how the medium runner can take. Because right now, only 3 people are really going for it. What would you personally think? If you were driving today, say if this was F5 social, what would you go for personally? Would you like to go for medium compound tyres, Hippo, or would you like to maybe try and go for soft and get a faster time?
After a recent practice session with a couple of drivers, I qualified on the softs, but I qualified on the mediums, but I struggled with my tyre wear. So I would probably go soft hard, just to make sure that I can push and have the leeway of that tyre wear.
First lap of the session set on the medium compound tyre was a 21.4, but then Stygian instantly beat that time by 0.2 of a second.
Yeah.
Vettel, I think, backed off there on the last bit of that lap.
Probably wants to go on mediums by the looks of it.
Yeah, if he sets too much of a quick time on the softs, it will be difficult for him to actually do better than his soft compound running. But, oh, pardon me, very good work there by Stygian and Josh. But the thing is will they trigger off a chain reaction of the other drivers to cause them to maybe take some medium compound tyres out? Because Pigeon seems to have taken that initiative.
I think most people try and get through on mediums and resort to softs if they struggle with that. But Dangerous Dan looks like he isn't quite pushed as much as last lap. Although it's still going to be a very good lap there. Maybe he has just pushed fully.
He's cleared Stygian by 0.9 of a second, but he's half a second off of Al Daff, who does the fastest lap of the session with a 1:19.8, but that's not actually the fastest time of the day.
Yeah.
Mr. Pigeon Munch set a faster lap in Q1.
There's top 2 going on soft, so I reckon it's going to make it very hard for anyone to get through on mediums now.
Oh, I have to point something out to you. Dangerous Dan just finished the lap and he's actually already gone fastest in the first sector.
Ooh.
So keep an eye on him, because the fact is he's just done a pretty decent lap and he's already gone fastest in the first sector. I was about to change, but then he's just done that. Is he going to do faster in the second sector? No, he's a little bit off in his time. Got a Red Bull going off. Oh, Dan, a little bit of oversteer catching the curb.
Just set the second fastest medium time. 500th off Stygian's time there.
Good though. Yeah, I think Dangerous Dan might not be able to beat his previous running lap. So let's go on board with VRC Dan in the Ferrari. Isn't VRC Dan a fellow F5 driver?
You think he's F3?
The F3? I'm not too sure. Originally it was meant to be F2 and F3, but then, you know, some seats got filled. Obviously, he is driving for Ferrari, and he's decided to choose to represent with the Michael Schumacher helmet from 2000. So I do like that helmet. It's quite nice. And on to his lap he goes. VRC Dan gets a nice cut across turns 1. Gets a nice, decent run there through turns 2 into the straight. This is a famous straight where Fernando Alonso and Esteban Gutierrez had the infamous crash where Fernando Alonso rolled quite a few times, but fortunately came out relatively unscathed. Unfortunately, he did have a little bit of an injury, so Stoffel Van Dorn did fill in for him in Bahrain the race after. Fastest first sector by VRC Dan, so very good. He's already done better than Al Daff in the first sector, but can he keep this momentum going for the rest of the lap?
Pigeons just had a lap
Turns
on
9.
mediums and validated right at the end. So he's pitted.
Oh, that's gutting. Looking at VRC, Dan's lap time, it's looking quite tidy at the moment. Fastest first and second sector, but can he keep this momentum going and securing a fastest third sector and the fastest lap of Q2? Oh, bit of the back end kicked out there. I think that might have cost him some precious time in possibly securing P1. I think, though, this lap could definitely challenge for P2 from Dangerous Dan.
Very tidy so far.
Can VRC Dan put himself up there in the top? Only just missed out on possibly beating out Daff. It did cost him, but he does secure P2. He's actually only 0.2 of a second off of an F1 driver.
Oh, I'm very pleased with that lap then.
You can be proud of that. That's a really good lap.
We've got BF1 Racer and Vettel on outlaps. Vettel on fresh mediums, so he's obviously trying to qualify on those tyres.
These lads are staying together. They are mates. So I think you know, I think they're talking outside, you know, in their own party. You're allowed to do that. It's a social. It's like, it's still competitive, but they're mates, so, you know, they'll try and coordinate so they don't get in each other's way. But yeah, here we go. BF1 Racer, please take it away, Hippo.
Coming out of the last corner, he gets to DRS and just puts his foot to the ground here. Might be getting a slight tail of Vettel if he can keep up, but oh, cuts along that green very nicely there without invalidating. And they're just trying to keep somewhat getting the toe from Vettel where he can. Just cuts across that corner, taking it wide. The exit, bringing it back in. And another swooping right-hander here. Keeps it off the curb completely. Just got to keep it nice and tight through this right-hander, let it drift that wide. Keep it then flat out. And drift it in there. You've got to try and be careful with your curb usage on the inside line. You lose quite a bit of time there. Now into this left-hander, cuts as much as he dares on the inside and doesn't quite get as much curb on that exit as some people have, but it's a lot safer on just keeping it off the curb. And sweeps it into the right-hander, using quite a bit of curb on the exit. And the second right-hander here. Not quite as much curb usage, and tries to avoid the curb and get a clean exit, preparing for the final corner here. Gets it and just tries to tuck in Vettel's toe. Just puts his foot down here and gets him up to P4.
You did point out, which was a very good observation, of him catching a little bit too much of the curb, maybe, or maybe not utilising it as much. That might have costed him some time. I noticed, although, that he did downshift through some gears quite quickly, so his car did scream a little bit, especially through that chicane, so I think that did definitely cost BF1 Racer a little bit of time.
Oh, Vettel!
But regardless... Oh, what's happened to Vettel?
On his in-lap, he's just spun. His medium cars don't be liking it that much anymore.
Oh, that's... will have affected his tyre life, a spin like that, because if you lock, obviously, if this is real life F1, that would cause flat spots. You won't get that in this game, but obviously the higher heat temperatures will cause your tyres to degrade faster.
I think everyone's going to run softs here. I think Vettel's going to have to come back out. Everyone's got a set of softs fitted except for Vettel here. So lots of people are going to be setting laps soon.
Pigeon Munch is on a lap. The question is how fast can Mr. Pigeon Munch go? He's pushing it around to the second to last corner, and he's still looking very good. Now through the last corner, Pigeon Munch flat out. Pushing with the DRS assistance, crosses the line. Third fastest, he breaks into the 19s with a 19.942. Fastest third sector, so very good work there by Mr. Pigeon Munch. Sainz has done... This is a Villeneuve and Schumacher situation we're seeing here. RSF1 Sainz and Aldaf have done the exact same time. That is a Schumacher-Villeneuve moment there. But the thing is Aldaf did that time first. Back when Schumacher and Villeneuve had that moment, it was I think it was Schumacher that actually did the lap first. No, it was Villeneuve who did it first. Then Schumacher did it. That's incredible.
Stidgen's just started his lap under the first chicane. Or right, left. Not really a chicane there, was it? Just doesn't quite go into 8th gear on the straight, and has a slight look up into the corner, but nothing too bad. He just sweeps these corners, using as much curve as he wants there. You've got to keep it going, and he's 3.5 tenths up on his time. This would put him right behind RSF1 Vettel's time, which is down mediums. Stidgen has another look up there into this right left-hand corner, into this sweeping left-hander. So I don't know if he'll want to improve, or he'll need to get into the top 10. He's going to qualify any higher. And he goes quicker again in this second sector. But now, he's got a Williams, I think a magic mark that he just has to go around there, using a bit of curb on the exit, and just coming for the second right-hander. Got to get a nice run through this final, or penultimate corner, get a good exit. It's very smooth, it uses quite a bit of the curb on the exit. It's just straight to the finish line. And already sets a P4.
He cut it close and joins the 1 minute 19 club. I had a comment there from RSF1 Double. How do you know all this stuff? I'm an F1 nerd. I do like my F1 history. Me personally, my favourite driver of all time is Ayrton Senna, so I do look quite a bit into some of the F1 past. I mean, I know this track had one of the biggest crashes that I'd seen in terms of F1 history. I mean, the biggest one had to be Spa, back when nearly over half the grid had crashed out in Turn 1 in a very wet Belgium Grand Prix. But this one actually showed Rubens Barrichello and Ralf Schumacher having a really big crash in Turn 1 back before, I think it was the early 2000 days. And quite a lot of the grid did join them in terms of really big crashes. And I think this is also where Mika Hakkinen got a very poor start from a rolling start. And Eddie Irvine just was like, yep, I'm going to just go past you and take the race away. Yes.
Stormed out ahead. There's a 19.6.
Sorry, I thought you meant Ice. There's too many people with similar names. So Ice, a former F2 driver, now pushed to F1, on top of the table with a 19.6. So very nicely done there by Ice. And Dangerous Dan actually pushes him up to P2. Goes faster than Aldaf and
Vettel's out.
Vettel!
Tried to get to on mediums and invalidated his soft run. Didn't leave enough time.
No. Josh and Lukey. Oh, Lukey's invalidated. Both the racing points are out.
Josh is up on his time.
Oh, this is close.
Really?
Josh has just got a good run. About turn 12. Oh, do you think he could do it, Hippo?
6 tenths up. It will be very close.
Oh, that's a Ferrari. Oh, good work, guys. Don't obstruct him. Don't obstruct him. Right, Josh, season 4.
He's-
He pushes round the last corner. How is he going to do? Is he going to get into Q3 and push himself ahead of the racing point?
Yes, he does.
Just barely.
Oh. Both racing
Look at the
points out.
time. Look at the space between P1 and P9.
Yeah. Four.
P2 to P9. 0.2 of a second separate second place and 9th place.
Yeah. Vettel will be disappointed with that though.
That will definitely hurt the confidence going into the race.
Although it does mean that here he does have a choice of tyres.
That's not always a bad thing. We've seen races won from the midfield, especially near the top 10. The most memorable moment I think I can remember is season 1. Unity Hush. He started P15 in his Haas. And he pushed, this is a British Grand Prix, it's P15, he pushed through the grid and won the race. It had been the best pace I've ever seen in league racing, especially when starting near on the back of the grid. And he also claimed the Season 1 championship and became the first F1 driver to be crowned. Going over the top 3 is RSF1 Ice on pole in the Ferrari, with Dangerous Dan in second place in the Mercedes and Red Bull in third with RSF1 Signs. The top 3 teams taking the top 3 spaces. Meanwhile, in 14th place is F1 Azza in the Haas, Lukey in 13th in the Racing Point. In the other Racing Point is RSF1 Vettel, and RSF1 Ice in the Red Bull just misses out in getting into Q3. He is in P11. Look how close BF1 Racer was. He only just barely made it into Q3.
Yeah. I'll be pleased with that though. Both Williams in 4th and 5th are right behind those top 3 drivers. One of them on the exact same time as Sainz, I believe the same as Alda.
Tell you what, did you watch the driver draw? I'm pretty sure I saw you in the driver draw chat with Raikkonen.
Yeah.
Don't you think this season has got some really, really strong drivers? I mean, in all divisions, all teams, they're strong drivers.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who takes the lead at the start of the season. I think it's the McLaren of Stiggen coming out first.
You are right. Orange takes the front of the... No, it's been instantly interrupted by... So, what looked like McLaren was going to get out first. The previous overall winning constructor car instantly gets the McLaren, shuts it down and gets in front. So BF1 Racer is in front to be the first on board for Q3.
Everyone's out on the softs, no surprise there.
However, people like Mr. Pigeon Munch, Pigeon has only got one soft compound tyre left. He's used 2 in Q1, he's used 1 in Q3, sorry, Q2, and he's only got 1 left.
Unless he used a worn set in Q2, but most likely he'd want to
That
get
would have
fresh
been risky.
tyres.
So BF1 Racer is got Stiggen staying with him for some reason. They both stay together. I don't know why Stiggen's not just fallen back a little bit, giving a little bit of space, because preferably, well, if an incident happens here, logically, it's not the car in front that's at fault, because it's the responsibility of the car behind to give enough space to the car in front to get away and do a lap. If he happens to catch up, Stiggen does want to get past him, but right now, BF1 Racer has the right of way. There you go, Stiggen has realised he can't get past BF1. He has to give him that space to get ahead. BF1 Racer pushes on, and he will be beginning his flying lap. Hippo, you've been doing a tremendous job so far. Please take it away again with BF1.
Alright, down the straight, he starts his lap, 8th gear, takes it up to 200 miles an hour for braking, coming in, only invalidates on the second corner.
I guess we'll go to Stiggen then, keep it going.
Stiggen doesn't invalidate, keeps his lap going through that, and the third corner overtakes BF1 Racer, and just sweeps around that corner, and takes it on the left, just touching the curb without going over it too much. on the right-hander. He uses a bit less than he has done in the past qualifying sessions. On the right-hander. And you just got to keep it tight through this section. Again, just let it drift wide. Try not to lose any speed through there. And just sweep in across here. Keep it on the exit. Just keep it. Try not to have to make any stutter movements. Smooth and just let it drift inside and outside. Comes out wide and just brings it in. Doesn't use too much of the inside curve on the first corner, but does on the second. And uses it a lot on the exit. And here he's just taking it up as high as he can. Got the low fuel symbol, so he obviously underfueled the car there. And the second right-hander uses quite a bit of the curb, but just doesn't lose any. Or a slight lock up into the penultimate corner. Through the right-hander here, just used the same amount of curbs he did last session and just puts DRS down. Sets to 120.1, a very good first lap position. Beaten by Aldaf straight away though.
Again, a 19.8. It seems to be a common time for Aldaf. It's like his set lap. He just keeps on smashing it. Just bam, bam. 19.8s all the way.
Well, that was the car, and Dangerous Dan has retired in the pits. I'm guessing he's used all his tyres up. Or something, because he hasn't...
Probably doesn't have anything to push with. It's worth doing something, even if you have to use a worn set of tyres. Just as long as you don't use your Q2 set. It's worth it because, I mean, if you retire this early in Q3, you might as well have just, like, maybe been out in Q2. At least you get a fresh set of tyres.
Yeah.
But Dangerous Dan might have a trick up his sleeve. We won't know for sure until we get into Q3, but if he's planning on taking a little gamble, it is his to try and take. It could work out.
Maybe in the race. Don't know.
Oh, Sign's going a bit wide. Crosses the line. P2! Tell you what, RSF1 Signs has opened up pace I've not seen before from him.
So now for Tower, he's really slow. I'm guessing he's letting cars past. Has he spun that there? Oh, he spun!
Oh, yeah, he has. He's facing the wrong way. He's got to get that car pointed the right way before the game disqualifies him for going in the wrong direction.
VRC Dan's invalidated his second lap. So he's probably going to come to the pits and try and get a new set of tyres if he has them. If not, he'll be refueling his car. Yeah, Josh has turned it around in time. Must have lost it. That fast left right-hander.
That could have been a lot worse. Trust me, even the best of the best gets caught out by the turn 11, turn 12 chicane, because if you're really going for it and you catch that curb, the car just loses it. The back end will kick out, and then in the end you'll just become a passenger in what could be a really catastrophic crash. Some people might find that area funny. I mean, it's been in the meme review before in season 1 where Cross Carey went flying after hitting that, but I tell you what, we've seen many DNFs here in RSF1 on that particular chicane, and it's generally one of those corners where it's not surprising if someone does have a crash. Not to say anything about their performance, because all of the drivers here are spectacular.
Yeah.
But a corner like that will catch anyone out.
On the mini-map it looked like it was just letting some cars pass, but it's not. It wasn't, he just lost it.
Mercedes actually happened to have an incident beforehand. Remember when we was on board of Ice in I think it was Q2? I think it might have been Dan who was going across that chicane and might have had a problem because I was worried the Mercedes might obstruct the Ferrari.
Talking of Ice, he's just about to set another lap in 7th at the minute. He's coming out the last corner, looking like a good lap. Gonna move him up into P2.
Oh, Ferrari power versus Mercedes power. Mercedes power, however, is on top with a 119.836. RSF1 Ice, a 119.847.
Alfa Romeo BF1 racer bringing his car into the pits. He's had probably been on low fuel because he's been very slow on that end lap.
Question, Hippo. How much have you looked into F1? Like, have you been more interested in recent history, or have you had a little bit of look into the dark, shadowy depths of F1, like going back really far back in time?
I haven't looked that much. I've seen things here and there about past things that have happened, and old technology compared to new. But not that much, no.
How far have you looked back? Like, would you say Schumacher days, Senna days, Niki Lauda days?
I've seen things of old races, of Senna Prost, but not much. Mainly maybe a decade ago, but not that much at all.
That's fair enough. More to the modern history of F1. I think in F1, the most resilient driver ever to be known was Niki Lauda. Rest in peace also to Niki Lauda. He did pass away in 2019. Niki Lauda had a crash in 1976 on the Nürburgring. This is the Nordschleife, like the really big track. It takes like 10 minutes to complete a lap in the general motor car.
Stidgen's coming out again.
Oh, yeah, we'll get on board with Stidgen now as soon as the game will let me.
Got an out lap, so we can talk while we wait.
Anyway, so in the race, it was really torrential weather. Niki Lauda had pulled a meeting between all drivers to put his opinion through on cancelling the races. It was too dangerous to drive, and the other drivers disagreed with him, and they said, "You're only doing it because you're in the lead of the championship." And Niki stated that he didn't care about the championship, his life was more important. But unfortunately, he didn't win the vote when it came to cancelling the German Grand Prix in 1976. The race went ahead. Niki Lauda had a broken suspension. I think it was his right rear suspension arm had shattered and smashed into the wall, setting the car into a blazing fireball. He was taken to hospital for severe burns and really bad lung damage. And he came back to F1 six weeks after the crash, still bandaged and still bleeding.
Then he raced the final race.
He did try to race the final race, but he retired in the early stages because he said that battle in Fuji, again, really horrible torrential weathers, that battle in Fuji was not worth throwing his life away for. He didn't care that he was going to lose the championship to Hunt. He valued his life too much to take that risk.
Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, Niki Lauda is probably the most resilient driver of all of Formula 1.
Hamilton stated that if it wasn't for Lauda, he wouldn't have gone to Mercedes as well, so it's affected modern history as well as when he was racing.
It's very rare that Niki Lauda would take his hat off to people, but I think I remember when Stidgen invalidated.
The F1 races
and
next.
We both saw that. With Lewis Hamilton winning quite a few championships, Niki Lauda was impressed. You know, he tipped his hat to him, and it's very rare that Niki would take his hat off in like a praise of, to anyone.
The F1 race
again,
is 4,000s up. 4,000th.
Wait, 4,000ths?
Yeah, so very bad.
And he... Oh, did you just see that snap over his
little wobble there? I'll see what...
50 seconds.
It's Dan behind him. I'll just keep an eye on his times. See how he's getting on.
Dangerous Dan might not start at the back of the top 10 like we thought. It depends on how Pigeon and VRC is going to do.
Dan might be able to get another lap in. Oh no, he's invalidated and he's crashed.
Oh no!
He has survived, however, he will not be able to set a lap with his lack of wing.
BF1 racer! 19.7 using the frontline speed going down the straight.
Al Duff is 3/10 up. So I reckon.
Sorry, I had to say it.
Al Duff, I reckon, is just going to go top.
It was his slogan. Pigeon, fastest second sector. BF1 racer recently just did a 19.7. Takes top of the table.
Al Duff comes across the line at 19.3.
Mr. Pigeon Munch is the only person who can change this battle now to battle for pole for the start of the Australian F2, F1 and F3 social. Can Mr. Pigeon Munch put himself on top? He just fizzes out. Daff! Where did that lap come from?
Signs coming at the last corner now. Just by Magic Mark. Magic Mark goes 6th. Signs comes across the line, gets P4.
P4. Good lap.
Comes across the line.
Following right behind him.
Takes P3. And BF1 Racer up by 2.5 tenths.
Oh, he's going to even do a quicker lap.
Oh, I think
P3. He snatches P3.
P4. Oh, he didn't
No,
quite get
P4. Wait, what?
Not quite. I think he lost a little bit of time in that penultimate corner. Oh, it's just about.
God. What was that last minute there?
Dan crashing and then 6 cars improving.
Like, for a moment there, BF1 looked like he was on top. Then Pigeon beats him, then Ice beats him, and then our Daft just blows us all away with a 19.3.
The start of that qualifying looked like Stidin might have been top 5 this 20.1. He didn't get to set another lap because I'm reckoning he ran out of tyres, but starting P8 after everything.
You have to feel for Dangerous Dan and VRC Dan. Both the Dans didn't really get to put themselves up there in terms of the top 10.
Dan was looking quick on VRC, then he invalidated and spun it all within 10 seconds.
Papa Smurf, really recommend this Sky documentary Race to Perfection Quality. Watch showcasing 70 years of F1. I agree. By the way, not a sponsor. We're not a sponsor of Sky Sports. However, they have got some really good documentaries on there. I would recommend checking that out in terms of F1. Really good stuff there. And here we go. Into the transition period. So if you're wondering why we're sitting here waiting to go, this is the moment of the day where all the cars are lined up on the grid, but they're not starting the formation lap yet. This is where the drivers can reevaluate their strategies. Their setups, even though Parc Fermé is enabled, you can only alter slightly on your setup. Parc Fermé, as I said, yeah, that's been enabled. Then they can go over their fuel, so they can choose to overfuel or underfuel. Most drivers prefer to under. And if you're outside of the top 10, you can choose whatever tyre compound you want to start with. So I think maybe people near the back of the grid, like Quirky, might be using the hard compound. I would not be surprised if people like him would use it, because if you're at the back of the grid, you might as well go for a harder compound to give you a longer run in terms of the tyre strategy.
The top 10 are all on softs. That's what they qualified on Q2. And then from that, they have free choice. I don't think many, if any, people outside the top 10 will start on softs, but it'll be interesting to see.
Oops. I almost just dropped my controller there.
Would not be ideal. Be interesting to see what Vettel does, considering he's a tier above most of these drivers, so you'd think he's got the pace to get past them, but just curious to how he uses his strategy compared to others.
The lobby host is Lukey, so everyone's just waiting for Lukey to get us going.
Giving everyone a bit of time to start their strategies. Probably
That's what we
first and second.
Probably drivers looking to make good recoveries as well. For example, Michael, after having a bit of a poor Q1, especially being the first person to be the victim out of quite a few crashes here in qualifying, in the infamous turn 11 and 12 chicane.
Interesting early on the race. Lots of cars there very close together.
He is a person to keep an eye on. He's had some races where he starts near the back/midfield, but he manages to get his head down and he gets some good positions up. And he's had the odd few races where unfortunately he's had some bad luck and had an incident and fallen down. But yeah, I think Canada was one of his best results. It's his favourite track, and also achieved a race win there. BF1 racer, another driver who's pretty good.
Lukey's
there you go. Lukey's readied up. Right. Now this is your time to shine now, Hippo. Normally, people would remember the post office formation laps done by Element Snow. But depending on what Hippo wants to do here, RSF1 Hippo will be taking his first ever formation lap. So once the timer's finished counting down, it's all yours.
Okay, so at the back of the grid we have RSF1S Michael starting on the hard tyres. One of only 4 drivers start on this compound. And ahead of that we have Quirky Turtle in the Haas on mediums. In front of him is Toxic TW and the McLaren, also on the hard tyres. Just in front of him there's a Mercedes LR Evo starting on the medium tyres, with JS starting on the soft. Interesting to see if he can get past the 2 hard runners ahead of him, with F1 Asa on the hats. And Lukey, the lobby host, and Racing Point also on hards. Then RSF1 Vettel's on the softs in 12th position. They'll be looking for a good start to the race and trying to climb up some positions. Right in front of him is the Red Bull of Eyes the Best on the soft compound tyre. And into top 10 with VRC Dan, who crashed unfortunately near the end of Q3. I'm going to say Dangerous Dan. He retired early in Q3, we don't know the reason for that. And then Stygian, who set a lap early on in Q3, but wasn't enough to get him any higher than 8th. And we have Magic Marks in the Williams, Josh S04 in the AlphaTauri, and then the top 5 consists of RSF1 Science, who is in the Red Bull, BF1 Racer, who is in the Alfa Romeo, RSF1 Ites in the Ferrari, Mr. Pigeon Muncher in the AlphaTauri, who nearly got pole but was pipped to it by Al Daff, starting on the softs in the Williams.
Very impressive, I have to say. Very, very impressed there with your formation lap. You used references of the session that we've just had and managed to mix that into your formation lap. Very nicely done there, Hippo. So everyone, please give Hippo a nice round of applause and some big respect for his first ever formation lap. He did a top job. And today we are beginning the F1, 2 and 3 social in Albert Park, and looks like we finally get to have a good start. Don't worry about the grid, it will reform itself correctly. Maybe.
I'll keep an eye on the midfield.
2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And
Away
it's
we
lights
go.
out, and away we go for the Australian Grand Prix. And it looks like Al Daff gets a bit of a poor run going down into turn 1. Mr. Pigeon Munch gets a challenge down the inside. The Ferrari looks like he's going to try and make a little bit of a move, but then it's down the inside. Go Mr. Pigeon Munch with Al Daff. He's made the move. Mr. Pigeon Munch takes the lead of the Grand Prix, but then the Ferrari of RSF1 Ice is going down the inside. It's going to be 3
Oh,
wide
who's that
at the
Williams?
end of turn 3. There's contact. The Ferrari falls back. There's an Alfa Romeo getting right to the back of the Ferrari, and then running wide there goes Al Daff. Ice takes second place. This is a start. What a start. A clean one as well. A load of people had a little bit of a muffle, but then they managed to keep their heads down. It looks like RSF1 Signs unfortunately had a little bit of contact, and he's fallen down the back of the grid in P19. He will have that ability to recover. LR Evo's battling Quacky Turtle down in the bottom of the grid, but as it stands, as we go through the turn 11-12 chicane, it goes Mr. Pigeon Munch, Ice, Al Daff, BF1, Josh, Stygian, Magic Marks, VLC Dan, Dangerous Dan, Vettel, Azza, Ice Best, Lukey, Michael, Toxic, Jacely, Signs, Evo, and Quacky Turtle.
Yeah, Pigeon got a good start. I'm not sure if the intervals are right, but he's already broke 1 second to Ice. He was on the back foot with a couple of cars right behind him. So Pigeon's going to look on making the most of this and just trying to get himself a little bit of a gap. Quirky Turtle's out.
Quirky. 5-second time penalty has been given to VRC Dan for corner cutting. And Mr. Pigeon Munch takes the fastest lap of the race. It's a yellow flag in the third sector, but doesn't look like there's going to be a safety car. I think the car might get recovered
Ooh.
by the time the drivers even get near it.
I think F1 Asta's just had enough.
Oh, he might have. He might have saved it though. He's not
I
got any
think
wing
he's just
damage. I
gone
think
deep into turn 1 there and had to let some cars past.
Yeah, he managed to save it though, so he managed to hold it. And here's a little bit of a battle going on. It's the Season 1 F2 champion being attacked now by an F1 driver, Magic Marks, battling with Vettel. Vettel's going to get the run going into turn 9. Round the outside he goes on, the Season 1 champion of F2, and he gets the move done through into turns 10, and he now pushes on to challenge Stidgen, who's now up ahead. And actually, speaking of Stidgen's actually making good pace here and keeping up with Josh S04. Our DAF receives a 3-second time penalty.
There's Magic Mark. Penalties are starting to come in. And F1
has now received one. Oh, Ben! BF1 Racer, sorry. He has a bit of a wide exit there coming out of turn 13. And that's allowed Josh and Stidgen. Look at the oversteer he's suffering with. It's a three-way battle for P4 right now.
And then ahead of that, Eitz and Aldaf are very close together.
Oh, look at Josh! Josh is keeping BF1 Racer honest here. He's applying really good pressure. The DRS is now enabled.
Eitz is within 1 second here. And Aldaf is losing a little bit of time. Pigeon might have made a slight mistake there.
Aldaf has definitely got to really push, because that 3-second time penalty could really hinder him later on in the race.
3 cars have pit so far, and VRC Dan leads those 3. They've all gone onto a hard compounder tyre, although I think they've all changed tyre already, so they'll probably be pitting again.
I go back right now to RSF1 Vettel, who is actually on a bit of a charge now through the midfield. He's battled previously of Magic Marks, and with the DRS assistance and the good pace right now, he's catching up to the next car. Oh, Magic Marks! Speaking of Magic Marks, the champion crashes in the chicane. That's got to be a safety car. His car's right in the middle of the field.
Will VRC Dan get there in time to see it?
I don't know why that's not a safety car, not even a virtual safety car.
Pretty sure they are turned on.
Oh! Stidgen has moved out the way for RSF1 Vettel. Vettel moves up into 6th place. I would have thought Stidgen might have defended.
Unless he's just going to try and follow Vettel through.
Marks, that's at the end of his day. Oh, on board of Eitz, sorry. The battle for the lead. It's a 3-way battle between Mr. Pigeon Munch, RSF1 Eitz, and... Mr. Pigeon, Eitz, and Al Daff. A 3-way battle. And now as Magic Marks joins Quirky Turtle in the DNF team. It's unfortunate. I would have loved to see more racing from these guys, but stuff happens and it's a real shame. Oh, we've had another off. There we go. There's a safety car. That's Michael, I think.
Oh.
No, it's not Michael. Might have been Michael, actually. I don't know. He has got damage.
Vettel won't be happy because he just had a great run on Josh S04, just as that was called. So, not what he wanted.
Not what Eitz would want. Eitz was actually getting close to challenging Mr. Pigeon for the lead.
Will they pit for hards, or is it too early?
They can do. They can pit for the hard with
Pigeon
no repercussions, but the only issue is they'll lose out to Lukey.
Josh isn't. From the top 5, Josh
gamble
is
here.
the only one to stay out. Although he would be double stacking if he had have pipped.
Scuderia slapping hard on that Ferrari.
Now I'm thinking Lukey's in the ideal position here. Oh, Josh nearly.
Oh god, look at the train coming out of the pits!
Is Pigeon lost out?
No, Pigeon stays ahead.
Aldaf.
Looks
He's
like
aimed on Eitz. Eitz has lost out.
BF1 Racer and Vettel actually both really capitalised from this. However, people like Lukey... Sorry?
Eitz has lost a position in the pit there.
Did he? Oh, he did, yeah, he lost it to Aldaf. Good spot. Dangerous Dan, though, I don't know why, but he's decided to slap on the softs. I mean, if he's going for a more aggressive push to try and challenge those soft runners, he could try and maximise a soft stint. He will have to. I think he'll probably go softs to mediums from this point.
But will he pit again next lap? Be on 1 lap fresher halves? The end? Don't know.
If he does, he'll still be with the rest of the pack. He's just got a little bit of battling to do.
He might lose out to Sainz and Michael, maybe even after.
Two people who've decided to be bold and not worry too much is Josh S04, who takes the lead of the Australian Grand Prix. Eyes the Best follows in behind, who's done the exact same, who's decided to not bother with pitting onto new tyres. Lukey, Toxic CW, people who started on hards, who actually will be net lead with those hards.
Only Pigeon and Michael put onto mediums. Will they be able to stretch it to the end?
No, I don't think they can. I don't think that's possible to do it. Oh, someone's gone into the pits.
Josh, he didn't want a double stack with Pigeon, but that would have been better for him.
Ah, okay, playing the more of the team game. The only issue is, though, he's now lost tremendous time. He's probably going to come out last.
It'll be near. Oh, someone's lost win. They were fine. Stygian and Vettel collided.
And Vettel has received, Stygian has received a 5-second time penalty for colliding with RSF1 Vettel.
Stygian has lost an end plate.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's not good for Stygian.
They might have to pit again.
He will have to pit. The safety car might be in this lap as well.
If it is, then it'll be hard for him.
Stygian will be able to fight back from it, but he'd have to pray for another safety car.
Pigeon would be happy with another safety car. He might not have to pit if that's the case. He can manage his highs as another safety car. Oh, Michael.
Oh, Michael's received a 5-second time penalty for causing a severe collision with F1 Azza.
I don't think.
But the thing is
it's
been known. I think it's been known for contact. I mean, if Michael was in front of Azza, sometimes the game will award it to the car that's in front. I don't know why it gave it to Michael if Azza made contact with him. If Michael serves a penalty. Vettel? What's happened to Vettel?
He pit? No. That's pit.
No.
Oh, safety car's in.
He spun out at turn 10.
Vettel's going to have to pit. Stygian probably will as well, and the safety car's in this lap.
Here we go. As it stands before the safety car restart, it'll be Eyes the Best in front with Lukey second, Toxic third, Pigeon fourth, Al fifth. Got Ite sixth, BF1 Racer seventh, Stygian eighth, Dangerous Dan ninth, Sainz 10th, Michael 11th, Azza 12th, Evo 13th, JC 14th, Josh 15th, VRC Dan 16th, and Vettel at the back of the grid after having that little spin at turns 9 through into 10. And here we go. Looks like everyone can't overtake until Eyes pulls away. Oh, and Eyes spins in the last corner.
Oh.
And that's another safety car.
Is it?
That's
no,
another safety
car.
It
hasn't.
Is it not?
No, they just haven't done the green flag yet. It's literally in the pit lane.
he I think his tyres were cold. We've had a crash in turn 1.
And Evo's collided.
What's happened
Pigeon's already past Toxic. He's now chasing down Lukey.
He's taking the lead. But here's the thing. I think what happened with Eyes is he had cold tyres, because I didn't see him doing that much weaving. When he put his foot down on the last corner, his tyres were so cold that when he tried to put the power down, he didn't have enough heat generated in his tyres, and it resulted in the back end kicking out and basically flying into the pits.
Yeah, same thing happened with Camo in F5 last season. There was 3 safety car restarts. I think he spun on 2 because he had cold tyres. However, he still came out pretty nicely.
Oh, Evo's gone. Let's go on board with Eyes the Best to find out what happened to Evo. He's hit the wall.
And he's Where is it?
Lost the wheel.
Vettel.
That's not a retirement on track.
Can
He
we
hit the
see-
wall, but I don't know.
No, we can't see it from Vettel's camera.
So a second safety car.
This could very much help Pigeon. We can look after his tyres for another 2, maybe 3 laps here. Might be able to go to the end. It'll be very close though. Oh, damage. Is that the Ferrari lights?
Oh, his eyes! Major damage there.
He'll have to come into pit.
That's probably orange damage.
Stygian did pit. So did Vettel. So they're both on mediums. So the safety car would have helped them out a lot. They'll be able to close up to the back at the grid here. And they'll be on mediums.
This is a good moment, by the way, Hippo, for anyone who's been given 5-second time penalties to serve it now.
Who has? Has Michael got a 5-second?
He does after a previous collision with
He
F1
also has a... Aldaf does not have a 5-second, he only has a 3 seconds. He cannot remove his penalty. Michael and Ike's both have 5 seconds, so they can remove.
Pigeon Munch was on the climb. He took second place quite quickly. But then just as he was seeming like he was making strides in challenging for P1, the safety car came out after LR Evo had an incident, but it looks like he had a collision with Azza back in turn 1 when the safety car restart first finished.
I think Pigeon will be annoyed, but they'll be pretty happy. He's up to P2, another 3 laps just to manage the tyres. So 4 of his, or after, if it goes 3 laps, he'll have done like 6 laps, 4 of which under the safety car. So he'll be able to extend his tyre life quite. Eitz is in.
Oh?
Eitz serving his pit stop, or his penalty. Michael stays out. Stygian is also in. Did you not get his damage fixed? He
Wait,
did.
what?
He's just changing the hards. He obviously doesn't feel confident trying to
Michael?
make... No, Stygian. Stygian's pit again onto his old hards. Obviously he doesn't feel confident taking the mediums to the end. He pit under the last safety car to get rid of his damage and penalty. Now he's pit again onto the hards that he was on before his penalty and damage.
Interesting of how quick the grid changes. We had...
Danger stands up to 4th on those softs.
Oh yeah, he is. Actually, let's have a look at the position changes while we're at it. Position change. Lukey's gone up 12 positions and holding the lead of the Grand Prix right now as it stands. Pigeon's maintained where he is. Aldaf has dropped 2. Dangerous Dan up 5. Toxic CW's made 12. Same with Michael. BF1 Racer has dropped down a couple of positions. Same with Signs. Josh has fallen down 4. I feel sorry for Ice because he was P3 at the beginning of this Grand Prix. He's fallen down to 15th.
Safety car in. Michael still has this 5-second penalty.
Oh, that was close.
Pigeon.
Lukey and Pigeon almost made contact in the chicane.
Yeah. Pigeon's going to want to capitalise again on this restart. This medium should warm up nicer than Lukey's hards. Dangerous Dan will also be trying to make the most of this.
Going on board Mr. Pigeon Munch, who will for sure try to challenge for the lead of the Grand Prix going into the safety car restart. Keep an eye on Pigeon right behind him as we go round the last corner. Remember, no one can put their foot down until Lukey does.
Dangerous Dan on that exit was right behind Aldaf. Nearly hit him on the rear.
Right into turn 1.
Dangerous
Pigeon
Dan
tries to make the move.
Dangerous
Can't
Dan
do it.
third. Squeezes Aldaf a little bit, but gets the move down. Dangerous Dan is now P3.
Good move there by Dangerous Dan. Moves up to third position. Our DAF and looks like Toxic CW and BF1 Racer, a former F1 driver, an F1 driver versus a former F4 driver, and the F4 driver's going round the outside. They're sticking it. CW moves up into fifth.
I think he had that initially, and then BF1 took it back. And then, Michael with another penalty. I think he's now 11 seconds.
BF1 goes round the outside of late breaking clean move.
Oh, Pigeon.
What an overtake.
Nearly.
Looks like Toxic CW's falling down though.
Pigeon was very nearly too wide into the fast left-right-handers. Oh,
and he collects a
penalty. Oh, he tried to almost make a different line to Lukey and just cut the corners too much.
Oh, Michael challenging BF1 Racer here. This is a good scrap down in the midfield. At first it was BF1 Racer versus Toxic. Then Toxic got overtaken by both the Alfa Romeo and the Renault.
Dangerous Dan didn't quite get the exit he was looking for, and Pigeon's right off the gearbox for Lukey. He moves to the inside, I think. Oh no, he just has a little look.
It has a look, but thinks twice on it.
He's got another chance here, but no DRS yet, so Pigeon's got to make his moves count.
He's really close. Remember, anywhere could be a potential overtaking opportunity, but they've got to just take it with extra care. But right now, Pigeon is getting the dirty air from Lukey, and this is going to cause him troubles as Dangerous Dan is sniffing at the back of this AlphaTauri. He's going to try and give it a little look. Backs off again. Little lock up there from the racing point up in front.
The thing is, with Lukey's tyres can probably go 20 laps. Maybe more with the safety cars. So, just fight for position at the minute.
Dan got a really good run, but is it enough to overtake Mr. Pigeon Munch? Don't think it's quite enough.
Pigeon keep it, although he's lost a bit of time to Lukey there. With this time penalty, Pigeon's got to make everything count here.
Look at them go. Lukey's now actually stopped the gap between himself and Mr. Pigeon Munch. Now Mr. Pigeon Munch is feeling the direct pressure.
The Lukey.
Oh, look how close Dan is.
Toxic's lost another position.
Look at the run he's got out of turn 2. He's going to go round the outside on Mr. Pigeon Munch down to turn 3. He gets it done.
Very nice racing from those two.
Dangerous Dan up to second place, overtaking Mr. Pigeon Munch, and now challenging Lukey possibly for the lead. But looks like Pigeon, I think he might be taking this brief moment to just conserve his tyres. He doesn't have to push too hard on them just right now. He can let Dangerous Dan push them as much as he wants and burn out those softs. Pigeon can just bide his time, wait for the right opportunity, and strike. Because right now, he is technically still net lead because Lukey still needs to pit. And Dangerous Dan can't stay out for too long on those softs.
Toxic just keeps sliding down where his position. Vettel's got past him now, and he's just about in the top 10.
Toxic's having a day, looks like he wants to forget.
Probably
as you said, he's just falling down the grid.
Must be struggling on those starts. All Lukey, different. Very different lines again. I think Dan's got this move done.
Oh, DRS assistance with the ERS Mercedes power. It's black versus pink.
And
Dangerous Dan down the inside.
Oh, goes very deep.
Mercedes in
3
the
seconds
lead.
Time penalty.
Oh, that could compromise him.
Pigeon is now right back and behind these two.
Dangerous Dan. He was pretty far down the back when the safety car restart was initiated.
I think after the pits he was 14th.
And now he's up into first. He had a very horrible start. And now he's leading the Grand Prix. However, he does need to pit, but that's still really good performance. It is soft versus hard, but those softs must be worn as hell right now.
He needs to pit, but so does Lukey. So now he's just got to try and get that time gap, a little buffer. When he does pit, he can't get out as high as possible.
Got a freeway battle. for P7 here. It's Josh versus VRC Dan versus RSF1 Vettel. And just as I look at that, VRC Dan hits the chicane of turns 11 and 12, hits the wall. That's a safety car, and that's beautiful for Dan, because Dangerous Dan can now go into the pits, put on medium compound tyres, and take them to the end.
Was that the same pace as qualifying?
That's exactly what he's going to do.
Oh, Luke is also in the pits. Signs drive through.
Signs has just received a 5-second time penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
I think he got a drive-through.
Not virtual safety car, under the safety car. Was it a drive-through?
It was a drive-through. Michael got a good chance to get rid of some of his 14 seconds of penalties there. Probably going to get rid of that
Dangerous
5 seconds.
Dan. With this, thanks to this safety car, I think Dangerous Dan is possibly in contention for the win here.
Only 4 drivers stayed out. So Pigeon is going to the end. Otherwise, he would have pit then. If he wasn't
Josh
going to
could be playing the team game here.
Maybe. There's no reason for Pigeon not to pit then.
No,
Unless
Pigeon
he's
has
going
no
to the
need to.
end.
He could probably stay out. I mean, hang on. He's done 9 laps on those mediums. He's
5
got
on
to
the
go
safety car.
15 laps more. So that means 20, regardless of a couple on the safety car, it's still 26 laps he's got to do on those medium tyres. Well, that means he would have done 26 if he gets to the end. I think that's a bit too much to ask for from these mediums, even if they've been coaxed under the safety car.
It would only be 18 laps of racing if he's looked after them while under the safety car. However, he has done some pretty good stretches of tyres. If I remember right, Abu Dhabi did the 1 stop, soft medium, it might have been soft hard. Did a 1 stop at Abu Dhabi. I attempted to copy it. I think I lost around 8 seconds a lap just before pitting to the drivers behind me.
It's a gamble you tried to take, but unfortunately it didn't pay off for you.
Nah. Fun trying.
It's worth a shot. I think a load of people copied Roberts' move back in a day, also known as Toto Wolff, back at... Vettel has received a 5-second time penalty for the severe collision.
I don't believe he did. He was on 5 seconds. So he either got one before that or he got one then.
Someone who's managed to make a good recovery from the last safety car was Eitz. Eitz is back up to P3.
The F1 racer did get a 5-second time penalty there when himself and Vettel did collide. So
they both got a 5-second time penalty each.
Yes. I've just checked.
That's going to hurt
race
them at the end.
Not many drivers don't have penalties. One of those is Josh. He's in a decent position, and so is Eyes and Lukey, to be fair.
Toxic CW and Stygian both are clean at the moment, so both the McLarens are driving a clean race in terms of penalties.
They're going to get big bonuses though.
Jace Lee?
Gain a bit.
Jace Lee as well.
Near the safety car, there's a chance for this entire grid to shut around again. Especially with the older tyres, the front 4.
I think though, the hards could go to the end, but I definitely know they'll struggle. The medium runners, who've already pitted, so Eitz and... well, Pigeon, I don't know. Eitz, maybe. But Dangerous Dan is definitely in at least a good spot here for a potential podium. Maybe the win. It's hard to say. He's shown
those
good,
mediums,
strong pace.
The recent medium pitters will definitely go to the end here. 15 laps on the mediums is also definitely possible. Just got to maintain pace and just keep it smooth. But Pigeon and Eitz, they're going to struggle with this restart, I reckon. Well, as a hard runners, because they've just got to be careful here and just, if anything goes wrong, they've lost too much time. They've got to be careful.
Josh is going to try and probably help out his fellow AlphaTauri driver. He might try and go for some glory here and try and overtake Mr. Pigeon Munch, or he might play the team game and hold up the others as much as he can, as cleanly as he can, to let Pigeon build up a lead.
I don't know. It's so... I mean... he slightly gave Pigeon quite a bit of space there.
He has. Pigeon's already up a second.
I don't think he'll be fully letting him go, but I think Josh will. He won't be fighting Pigeon, I don't think.
He'll be fighting to stay with Pigeon, but he won't be attacking for the position.
I'm not sure he's even be fighting to attack position.
Oh,
there's Eitz just made a move straight away. Ooh.
Josh tried to challenge and defend, but I think due to the fresher tyres. Oh, Eyes the best has fallen down.
Dangerous down up into 4th. What happened? Was Eyes the best? Did he crash?
Eyes the best must have had contact somewhere in the midfield with either Lukey or Dangerous Dan.
Eitz has already taken 2 tenths out of Pigeon's lead.
Contact happened somewhere among Eyes the best's position. I think it was P4 at the time. Eitz is doing pretty good. He's staying. Remember, the tyres that Eitz has is fresher than Pigeon's. So in terms of the tyre life, Eitz has the advantage.
Their penalties are the same, so they get cancelled out.
So it's a battle.
If it finished now, Josh would win. So Josh has to try and keep with these two now.
After both hitting each other in the safety car and collecting 5 seconds each off of each other, BF1 Racer and Vettel are both battling it out in the middle of the pack.
I think Vettel got past. I think he was behind earlier.
Oh, gotta go back on board with Dangerous Dan. He's getting to the point where he's going to try and challenge Josh. What the heck was that?
Very nice. But he keeps it
That was
clean.
a racing point that just flew off the track.
Well, that Lukey. Let's see if we can see it.
That was Lukey.
Eyes, nope, signs.
Looks like he just drove straight on forward.
Disqualified.
Lukey has been disqualified for driving the wrong direction.
Very unlucky there. Josh.
Oh, look at Al Daff!
Josh has got a 2.5 second buffer to the 2 cars in front there. So it's completely...
It's close.
It's Eitz versus Pigeon for the lead of the race, isn't it?
What a battle! Look at BF1 and Vettel! 3 wide!
Now Duff's ahead.
Oh my god, this racing!
On BF1. I think he's got the inside line and Vettel. BF1 Racer takes the inside line again.
And he holds Vettel back.
DRS has been enabled this lap. Eitz is just outside the 1 second of Muddy Biscuit at the minute. However,
Vettel's round the outside into turn 1. And it looks like
I think it sticks.
BF1, I think he might have conceded that. It looks like he just held off a little bit.
Legend got his first penalties. 3 seconds. These top 2 are running away.
But Eitz is now caught up to Pigeon. I think Pigeon must have made a mistake somewhere, because now RSF1 Eitz is all over the gearbox of that AlphaTauri. It could be a Scarlet Ferrari on top of the grid. Imagine that, RSF1 Eitz, a former Division 2 driver, fresh into F1, collects a second time penalty. That could compromise his ability to win now.
No, as long as Pigeon doesn't get another penalty, he doesn't need to push as much.
Aldaf and Josh. Aldaf challenges round the outside against Josh. Josh is going to try and hold it. They bump wheels.
Aldaf got penalty. Oh, keeps it going.
No, Aldaf hasn't got one. Oh, he has got one, sorry. Yeah, Josh is the one who's not got a penalty. Dangerous Dan tries to get a little look at the incident between Aldaf and Josh. And it looks like Josh covers. Dan's now challenging. It's a drag race to the end here. Vettel's getting a little sweep. Oh, Josh forces himself onto the racing line, which forces Dan to concede.
Ike's got to within 3 tenths of Pigeon there. Just had a wobble in the exit of turn 2.
Oh, Vettel Vettel late braking. He tried to make a late lunge down the inside on the pair of them. Unfortunately, that resulted in him going into the gravel trap. Dangerous Dan does get in front of Josh finally. Josh valiantly holding on with 13-lap-old tyres. BF1 Racer is now getting the back of Josh now. BF1 Racer collects another time penalty.
Michael is now very close to the back of BF1 Racer here.
Argy here with that Alfa Romeo and Alpha Tauri. The Alphas are hitting each other hard in terms of raw pace. BF1 Racer, though, with the straight line speed, moves up into 5th place.
And Josh gets a penalty.
Josh collects one.
Last couple of corners here. Can Eitz get a bit closer to Pigeon? I don't think he'll be able to close enough to make a good move down the straight. Unless he torpedoes him, which I doubt he'll do.
Well, we witnessed from Vettel, who did try and make the move. Sometimes the torpedo effect doesn't really work because it's a matter of how fast your car can stop. He did almost pull it off, unfortunately. He broke too late, which resulted in him going to the gravel trap and collect another 3-second time penalty, which could hinder him.
Gained 6.5 tenths over those 2 DRS straights. Wasn't quite enough to get past Pigeon though.
Oh, bit of a battle then back there. Michael was getting close to Josh, but then just behind I saw Jay Slee trying to challenge the McLaren of Toxic CW. A fresh face F3 driver versus Jay Slee, who's quite a seasoned driver.
Oh, we're stitching. Now stitching. Toxic's almost backed him up in stitching. He just tucked him behind.
Ooh, bit of team play here going on between Toxic and Stygian. Toxic's trying to do his best to keep the Alfa Romeo at bay while giving his teammate an opportunity to attack.
I don't know if this would be a great overtaking option here. Not quite, but he's got a good run out of that corner where Pigeon has slightly struggled, so nearly got past him there. And Michael and Josh go back and forth. They've gone side by side.
Oh yeah, side by side, going to the last corner.
Who gets the DRS?
Oh! They both do. No, Michael gets the DRS over Josh because he was behind him as they hit the DRS window. Michael gets that DRS going into turns 1 and into turns 2.
Oh no, he thinks better of it.
Very good overtake by Michael. I did tell you, he probably, if he got his head down, he does make up some really good pace and some good battles. And there goes Jay Slee.
Safety car.
Another safety car. The field has been changed again. Everyone's going to be pitting for softs now.
See what happened? You can see the signs what happened to the car of Jay Slee here. It's just big contract wall. And Eyes for the driver.
Eyes the best. Receives a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
I believe only Vettel was a 5-second penalty right now. Him and BF1 Racer, sorry. So they could both pit and get rid of 5 seconds of their penalties. At the front, Pigeon is 3 seconds of a time penalty difference to the 3 cars behind him. Does he pit? Yes, he does. Very late. Oh, Eitz! It's got another 3-second penalty. 3 seconds.
How did Eyes get one? Aldaf got a 5-second for speeding.
Oh no. Dan has stayed out. BF1 Racer stayed out. Michael stayed out. Toxic. Both McLarens have stayed out here. Ginny keeps ahead of Eitz and comes out in 6th. The 2 McLarens ahead of him are both on the same penalties as him, so he has to get past them.
Eitz has retired in the pits. He's felt enough is enough. And he's retired in P11.
Picked. Oh wait, he's come out the box. Eyes his car.
Oh no, because he retired in the pits. Sometimes the game won't keep the car in there because both of them went in.
Oh, okay.
Eyes' car will go back out onto the track, but then it'll pull off in the nearest escape road.
Oh yeah, just Gonna
A
be
familiar
interesting to see
sight right now. A Mercedes on the back of the safety car.
unfamiliar sight. An Alfa Romeo on the back of a Mercedes.
That is very, very true.
The four
Imagine if
behind
we
them
see
could
like
believe though. Alpha Tower.
next season, like Kimi Räikkönen up the front, like behind Valtteri Bottas. That would be a funny sight.
Love to see it.
What the hell is doing? Massa has a 5-second time penalty. Why do we have the penalty? No, Massa. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm jealous of AJ taking the name Raikkonen because I tell you what, Raikkonen is probably the most funniest driver.
Unintentional as well most of the time. Just completely.
Oh yeah,
completely unaware.
remember the drink bottle in Hungary? No, Gimme, you will not have the drink. But do I press the button? It won't work. He's like trying so hard to get a drink when obviously it's completely buggered. It won't work. Quite surprising. Look at how many cars retired.
Yeah. I think both McLarens, they weren't looking too great, but they both stayed out on fairly new mediums, however nowhere near as new as everyone else's tyres. Top 5 all on 9-lap-old mediums. Beneath that, everyone is on new softs. Wait, was that some damage?
I just learned what happened to Lukey. Brake pedal failure.
Ah. Because
he's using a rig, his brake pedal decided not to work, and he went straight off.
That's why you use a controller. No, I'm kidding. That still doesn't work. If
No, I use pad.
You've got no hope.
I use pad. I do admit there's some tracks where a controller does better than a wheel, but then there's some tracks where the wheel is king.
There are some tracks that cannot set a lap around Monaco. So yeah.
Monaco is definitely a pad circuit in my opinion. If you're using a wheel, you're gonna feel the fatigue.
I can't set a lap around Monaco. I haven't set a lap around Monaco on any of the F1 games. Except for now I can wall ride around the chicane. Well, not chicane, the hairpin. I just can't do the hairpin.
I do like that track. It's probably one of the ones I know most of the names of. You know, you got Tabac, you got Casino Square, you've got Mirabeau, the lowest hairpin.
You could probably
so
name every F1 driver. You could name a corner after them because their house is on that corner. So eventually it would be here's the Coulthard estate and
the Leclerc landing.
Yeah.
Or if they had like their own little hotel, the Ricardo Ritz. That'd be pretty cool.
Well,
here we go.
Albert Park.
Dangerous Dan is the person to initiate the restart.
Stidgen has nearly
Dangerous
hit his
Dan
teammate.
gets going.
Oh, Pigeon had a little...
Michael and Ben! Down the inside, Michael's going to go on Ben. Ben tries to cover him off, but Ben does it. He manages to hold second place. What an attack by Michael!
Oh, toxic penalties. Pigeon had a wobble on the start out there. But he's got a lot better run out of turn
Pigeon
3.
makes the first attack, tries to at least, but now... Oh, that's actually not a good thing for Pigeon as well. He's got to try and attack these medium compound runners, and that allows Eitz to stay with him.
Oh, toxic, gone a bit wide there. This is quite hard to don't get past traffic early.
Vettel!
You're under pressure from the car behind. Pigeon's got to try and get past Toxic here. He gets past and Eitz does... Oh! He squeezes a lot there and...
Toxic's holding it.
Eitz follows.
Look at the back!
Eitz has just followed through there. Not ideal for Pigeon.
Jesus Christ, it's full wide at the back!
Pigeon did not want that. Eitz is now right on his rear. And he's not that close to Pigeon at the minute. So, Pigeon, he's chasing after Stygian. Just trying to keep ahead of Eitz.
Oh my god.
Oh, will Stygian make a move out of these corners? Oh,
Stygian's trying
Pigeon.
to defend with everything he's got. Stygian's trying to keep Pigeon back.
Eitz has moved over very early there. Eitz is on the back foot to Aldaf. He does make a move into turn 1. Now,
looks like Pigeon's going to get the better run going out turns 2.
round the outside, will he get it? I think he has. And Eitz is left behind Stygian there.
Stygian has now managed to get overtaken by Pigeon, and now he's got Eitz putting pressure on him. The soft compound runners are definitely getting up there. Now he's got Michael left to contend with.
This is good for Pigeon though. He's broken the gap to Eitz, but he's got to get up towards the front there, Pigeon. Oh,
Michael.
I think he's just.
Michael, I think he let him go in the end.
Pigeon has 3 seconds, so he can keep this gap, but he'll want to close in on this front 2 here. The minute Pigeon would win on penalties.
As if Pigeon can keep this momentum going.
People just got penalties, so belts.
Aldaf just received another one.
I wish I could just do the most recent on the incidents list. Just scroll all the way down. Drafted, okay. And Vettel. Pigeon's the fastest lap.
Looks like Pigeon has done, yeah, he's definitely done the fastest lap. And it looks like Eitz is actually having some real trouble trying to get ahead of Stygian.
And Stygian will get DRS on Michael here. This is really good for Pigeon. Person who's right behind him, Eitz, has been held up. He's closing in on the front 2. And
I mean, right now, Michael and Stygian are the only things blocking Eitz from challenging for the win here. Oh, here comes Vettel on the back of Eitz. Pigeon's received a penalty.
Okay, now all the penalties are even for the top. Okay, BF1 racer has 8 seconds. The top, Dan and Pigeon both have 6. Stygian has 3. So Stygian could close the gap, get past Michael, which I don't think he can. I think it is between these front 3 now.
Dan holds the opportunity to win the Grand Prix. And Vettel!
Yes.
I was just on board with Vettel, he's lost it. That's no safety car now. The safety car cannot come out now. I think, did Vettel just reset the track there?
I
don't know if he just did. That was unfortunate for Vettel.
Lap. Here's a chance of.
Vettel has called it a day. You okay there, Hippo?
That's it. Okay. Be 6 except for Signs and Josh, maybe?
Well, you're lagging there for a little moment. I don't know if that's me or...
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Barely hear you for a second there, buddy. Anyways. Yep, as you were saying, it looks like Josh is challenging round the outside on Eitz. Going a bit too close for comfort there for Eitz. Trying to stay with Stygian. Oh, going to have to go back on board with Mr. Pigeon Munch. He's only got a couple more laps to go to make the move and overtake for the win.
He is MP2.
If Pigeon overtakes Dan, Dan needs to stay 2 seconds within Mr. Pigeon Munch to secure the victory for the Australian Grand Prix. 2 laps to go, this one and one more. Can Dangerous Dan hold on enough to keep Pigeon behind him or stay in the window? But this is strong pace from Dan. What division is Dan in?
I think he was S3. Let me check.
He's Division 3.
Dangerous.
No, he's Division
He's
2.
in F2. F2 now. I believe it's promoted
Division
from S3.
2 driver. Making good work and keeping a very big Division 1 driver back. This is the penultimate lap. This is going to determine if Pigeon can take the win here, because even if he overtakes Dangerous Dan here, if Dan collects a penalty, it's all over. Pigeon wins this.
Gets a good exit here. Oh,
he got the penalty!
He doesn't need to have taken on track. Round the outside, will he do it?
Pigeon doesn't need to...
Oh,
oh, there's contact! Dan has just lost his opportunity to win the Grand Prix unless Pigeon can collect.
Oh,
unless Pigeon can collect another penalty, we'll have a problem.
The F1 racer's still on 8 seconds. So now, I think Pigeon has just calmed down a little bit. He realised the penalty situation. He's just not pushing as much.
BF1 racer collects a penalty.
Oh gosh, just as I said, he was on 8 seconds. This final sector, all Pigeon has to do is keep it clean.
What was looking like a potential opportunity for Dan to win the social event was lost in turns 2 due to a penalty, as provisionally Dan crosses the line to win the Australian Grand Prix, but Mr. Pigeon Munch comes up into 3rd place. BF1 Racer has a 5-second time penalty unserved. Michael gets 4th. Eitz gets 4th. Josh gets 4th. Look at that. That's massive jumble up.
Pigeon is P5.
Al Daft 10th. Michael fell down to 9th due to his penalties. Toxic gets 8th. That's been a heck of a race, I'll tell you that.
Oh, and off.
Congratulations to Mr. Pigeon Munch. He applied enough pressure to attack Dangerous Dan. However, Dangerous Dan got 2nd place. I know it's bittersweet for him because he would have liked to have gotten that win, but 2nd place in a social event to show his pace as a Division 2 driver versus Division 1, I think that will establish Dan's feet in terms of Division 2 to know that he is a driver to look out for. BF1 Racer, though, even after lots of things happening to him, collects 3rd place. Right, while you invite Mr. Pigeon, Dangerous Dan and BF1 Racer into the podium interview, I'll go over the classification for the Australian Grand Prix, the RSF1 Season 4 social race. Taking the win today is Mr. Pigeon Munch in 1st place. 2nd is Dangerous Dan. 3rd place is BF1 Racer. 4th place is Josh, Season 4 collecting 4th. Stygian 5th. Signs 6th. Eitz 7th. Toxic 8th. Michael 9th, Al Daft 10th, Vettel 11th, Eyes the best 12th, Jay Slee 13th, Lukey 14th, VRC Dan 15th, Evo 16th, Azza 17th, Magic Marks 18th, and Quirky Turtle rounds off the grid. So, before we do any interviews, Hippo, for your debut in the comms, how have you enjoyed today? Have you had fun?
Yes.
And hopefully, mate, this is the first of many for you. Right, so Hippo, I'll interview 3rd, you interview 2nd, I'll interview 1st.
Sounds good.
Right. An old face returning to the podium interview is BF1 Racer. First of all, before we talk about your race, mate, how have you been? It has been a while.
It has been a while, yeah, but that race was very, very insane and intense.
I noticed it was probably, like, even for a social, that was incredibly tense. Like, the lead looked like it was going to stay in one hand, and then it completely changed when 3 safety cars came out and penalties came into play. That was insane. But you've had a very mixed race, to be fair, mate. You know, it was up, down, all over the place, really, on the grid. But tell us how it's been for you, mainly.
Well, in quali was actually quite decent. I didn't think to be up there. I was shocked as to how quick the F3 guys were. They came out of nowhere. For sure, like a pigeon and Fail and Aldaf were a bit stunned with that pace. We got a good start. I think after the first safety car, and didn't really help. I was trying to get into a rhythm. Got into a rhythm, had a good race setup. I've made an amazing move. I think it was on a McLaren or someone, I can't remember, Josh maybe, around the outside, and there was a battle after the chicane with 2 of them. I got given a 5-second penalty. Vettel hit to me, so cheers, Vettel.
I think that might have hindered
cost
you
me
near
probably
the end.
second or first. Classic. And I got a penalty, a 3-second penalty as well for having to cut one of the cut because a couple of cars are breaking early, so I had to go right. I'm not going in the wall. So on another day, it could have been worse, or it could have been better. But as it's a social race, it was good, and looks like Dan's my rival for this season, so that's going to be good to have good battles with him.
Indeed, and just to let you know, there was one moment where I did say frontline speed, so your old slogan has made the comeback, and you did get some decent screen time for your overtakes. I have to say that I think there was one moment where you made an overtake round the outside on CW. It didn't look possible for you to actually do it, but you did and made it clean, and that was a really nice move. So some good driving today, mate, and very well done on holding on to your P3. I know incidents with Vettel and a couple of others might have hindered you from maybe getting the top spot or maybe even second, but regardless, mate, a strong drive.
Cheers. I also had a good battle with Michael as well. We each other to the limit, which was good, but we gave each other room. That was very good on the safety car restarts.
Yes. Gonna say, the one thing that I was really interested to see was a battle between you and Michael there, because he looked like he had it for a moment in terms of the pace, but then once the safety car restart was done, you managed to open up the gap between you and him.
Cold tires, you just drifted everywhere.
Yeah, unfortunately, as Eyes the Best suffered with as he drifted round the last corner into the pit lane after cold tyres affected his safety car restart near the beginning. But yeah, well done, BF1 Racer, on collecting. I'm just going to call you Verstappen because that's what I know you as. Well, congratulations on collecting third place. And now I'll pass over to RSF1 Hippo to interview Dangerous Dan. Congratulations on.
Thank you.
No, I can't hear Hippo. Hippo?
It's a part 2, right?
Hmm? I think the stream died.
Yeah.
I think it might be a Xbox server issue. I can't hear Hippo. Hippo, can you hear me, buddy? I don't think Hippo's there. I might... Oh.
No.
Hello?
Hello.
There we go. Would you like to proceed in interviewing Dangerous Dan?
Okay, yeah. Dan, how was it?
Crazy.
Very crazy, mate. Yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It was lots of highs and lows. Obviously, you saw my. I'm assuming you saw my box crash in qualifying. I'm pretty annoyed at that, and then annoyed at the penalties I got towards the end of the race. I feel like I could have held on if it wasn't for the last penalty. I could have held on for more of that, but hey, it was a social race. I still really enjoyed it. I had lots of good battles. Yeah, still. Yeah, it's gone again.
Am I right in hearing from everyone that the party's having a little bit of trouble?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So I don't know if we might be able to get the full interviews out. From what I can hear from Dangerous Dan, though, as he said, highs and lows. Very mixed moments in the lobby today as his qualifying was a bit affected, especially...
No, you cut out for me then as well.
Well, the people on the stream can hear me, but obviously I know you guys can't really...
The soft or not?
What was that?
Did you?
I don't know if we can continue the
soft tires or.
Oh no. Yeah, the softs helped a lot. You're right. Yeah. I was thinking the first safety car was at like 4. Everybody went on to hards, and I thought I might as well try something different since, and was lucky enough that I was able to make overtakes quick. And well, I moved. I bet you it's gone again now.
I'm sorry, everyone, but I don't know if we can continue with these interviews. The party is just too broken. I think it's a server. It is definitely a server issue that we're suffering with on Xbox. Pigeon, can you hear me? If I know the party's a bit laggy. Can you hear me, buddy? Hello. Before we go on to Pigeon, Dan, congratulations on second place. I know first place was in your sight. It just slipped through your fingers near the end there, because unfortunately the amount of pressure that was being applied on you was quite heavy, but you managed to bring home second place. And there it goes. Anyways, well done to Dan. Pigeon, hopefully if the party's working more enough, how was it for you?
It was okay, it was fine. I just jumped in. So my key was I would just do laps just to get up to speed. And obviously it's a social race and there were only a few F1 drivers in there. But I'm not one of the fastest F1 drivers. All the F2 guys were really competitive. I found out pretty straight away in the race that my setup was really understeery on heavy fuel, so I'm just trying to adjust and keep the pens down. And I mean, was it 4 safety cars that just kind of threw it up, so you just had to take each lap. Yeah, it was just a bit of fun at the end and just good practice for the first race of the season.
Yeah, it's a very good performance you had. You know, with the multiple transitions of those safety cars, it really was a bit annoying for you as you was making ground, but in the end you managed to take the top spot after fighting very hard for it. Before we go, Pigeon, I want to take you back a little moment to Season 2, Japan, and yours in Toro Rosso.
Yes.
I told Hippo a little bit of a history lesson when you bit the bullet in a completely wet start to start on intermediates, and you dominated that race from start to finish. Just to give Hippo a little bit of a recap, you know, back then, do you feel that was your best drive of all time back then, or do you feel you've got more to deliver?
It's not so much that there's more to deliver. You just take each race as it comes. I mean, being on the pad, there's some races you're good at, there's some you're shocking at. It just depends on the day. I mean, that one in particular, that was just a little trick that that I used every now and again. That you could tell a bit before the race whether the enters would be faster or not. But it was solid. It was almost perfect. I got a penalty on the last corner on the last lap, but it was a good race. Yeah, but I always try and do something different just to spice it up a bit. I hate trying to do the same thing as everybody because I'm not really the fastest in tier 1, so I usually have to do something different to try and get at least on the podium.
Do you feel, using some tricks up your sleeve, like as you just told us, do you feel you might be able to have the potential at challenging for the title for Season 4?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's some really fast drivers in Tier 1. These drivers in different leagues. I'm in another league, and I don't know if he takes it a bit more seriously. This is a bit fast. I think 8 races is absolutely spanked me in that league. So it depends how other drivers turn up. I usually try to stay in the points. That usually keeps me high up in like the top 6 in the championship, but some of these guys have some really rapid pace, and it's really hard to churn those out week after week. But I ain't more than anything. I'm happy with my race. I'm not too focused on trying to win the championship.
Well, we'll be keeping an eye out for you in Division 1. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in to the social race. I know it was a bit laggy for the interviews, so we couldn't get all of them. I'd like to give a massive well done to RSF1 Hippo for making a strong debut to the comms team and a very, very good performance. So well done, Hippo. That has been a tremendous job from you today, mate.
Just thanks for being here.
Unfortunately, it's lagged there. So I heard you say thanks, but unfortunately, it lagged there. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us for today's social. Unfortunately, Xbox servers has robbed us a little bit of a chat with some people, so hopefully that'll be sorted by Sunday. If you want to see some more Australian Grand Prix action, the debut of Season 4 begins with Division 2 on Sunday. Join me and Sync Diggles on Sunday evening at 8 PM on Twitch to see some action begin. We could see strong performances from Dangerous Dan. We might even see BF1 Racer maybe come back into the fold and really put some damage in. If you want to find out, join us Sunday. Until then, everyone, take care, stay safe, and remember to adhere to the government guidelines and social distancing. Make sure we get through this. And yeah, thank you very much, everyone. Take care.